stories, that's our game. Harrison Booker with some wild claims. NCAA antics, athletes getting played. We're here to make you laugh till you fade. Sports and laughter go hand in hand. Talking Bucker and the NCAA grandstand. We're the Flurry Sports Pod, ready to ignite funny storylines. We're gonna take flight.
That's a good spot to end it.
I've never heard a person's voice sound more like a trumpet than at the end there.
They went a cappella there for a second. All I typed in was mariachi band, and this. I mean, that's all you really have to do to create a banger, I think. So look at that.
Flurry Deportes.
we should do it Mexican month, just Mexican heritage.
Yeah.
Somehow there's got to be a program where we could just pipe in our podcast and it'll just spit out Spanish, right? It'll just change everything we do in Spanish, because that'd be kind of funny.
I think that is what they do for ESPN Deportes.
Probably. Or we could actually, it would be more expensive of a joke, but I could hire a freelancer to translate it and speak in Spanish our full transcript, which is also funny.
Well, I think what we should do is we should do the show and then, to your point, hire a Spanish announce team, just like the WWE.
Yeah, exactly.
They just talk over it. Maybe once in a while someone goes through their table.
That's true. That'd be fantastic. We definitely should do that. But yes, welcome back to Los Flurry Sports Deportes. We are recording on Friday.
Doubled up on the sports. Flurry Sports.
You know what? Didn't have the greatest high school Spanish teacher, if I'm being honest. Created a video. She shouldn't have. I was the biggest asshole of all time. If anyone could believe that out there. Created a video with 6 Spanish words in it. Got an A. Because I told her that I thought she said a max of 6 Spanish words, but she said max of 6 English words in the video. You know, there's a language barrier there. Couldn't understand what she said. And it was a great video. Doing Dora the Explorer, helping her smuggle coke across the border. It was a real banger. And it kind of leads into the career that I have now. So look at that.
The worst part is she showed that the next year when I took the class. She was like, here's an example of a video you can make. And I was like, yeah. I know for a fact he fleeced you.
Yeah, like, for sure.
Don't you know that? And it was like, then everyone didn't want to say any Spanish words.
Of course not. Same Spanish teacher that thought I was serving 98 on the tennis courts in the previously mentioned tennis club that I started. So.
When also in a very me move, just like, how can I rip off of Zach's joke in an even more like just simplistic way? Then when we did our video, we did like a haunted house one, and she was like, okay, I'm going to be clear. It has to be mostly Spanish. Like, I'm limiting the English words. But she did not clarify how many different Spanish words there had to be. So I think we kept it to like the same 5 sentences, like "Cómo estás?" Murder. Like, just like, you didn't tell me how many words had to be in this thing.
Yeah, she's got to be specific. Don't give me any gray area.
Yeah, that rubric is beefed up now. There's no loopholes left.
I mean, for her sake, I hope so. But if there's a loophole, I'm going to find it. It's my favorite thing to do. But yeah.
That's your favorite thing to do?
Oh, I love a good loophole.
You know who you'd be good to work for? You know who'd hire you?
Who's that?
The NCAA.
Oh, what a segue, and you're correct.
They tried.
The NCAA just paid $1 billion in order not to pay $1 billion. Great move.
Yeah.
Heel move. I don't want to pay you $1 billion, so we're going to pay these people $1 billion. Nice.
So I will say this story I think is interesting, but I feel like, do you want to explain for the people a little bit to get in the nuances of like why is this story important, especially when the NCAA has made such efforts to almost like kneecap this story before it reached this level?
Yeah. So there's, I think, multiple different lawsuits going on. And in order to combat the lawsuits or whatever, to save themselves from being guilty to that, the NCAA just passed a rule where colleges can now and basically must now pay their athletes. But in classic NCAA fashion, that's where the rules end. And what is that? It doesn't make any sense. So all the rule says essentially is no more amateur sports. These are now professional sports, and do as you will. And there's probably going to be like a cap installed. There's nothing yet, but there's going to be a cap installed where it's like, this is the max you can pay.
Yeah.
And I think they have to put a minimum, I would assume, but they're going to give schools wiggle room for sure. Like there's going to be a certain amount of scholarships and stuff that they can give. But multiple issues with this already. So it's like, let's just say I play in bumfuck Southern University, right?
Yeah.
Whatever it is.
I toured there.
Almost got the job. But like they don't care about anything but football. And rightfully so, because that's the moneymaker or whatever. But let's say this liberal arts yada yada college where they don't care about any sports and they think they're above sports, but they know football pays all their salaries. Either way, it's like, okay, can we find a way to not pay any sport anything other than football and just shove everything to football? That's an issue. Is Title IX, does that exist anymore? Like, do we have to pay the fucking volleyball program the same amount as the football program? Is that going to be, that's for sure a lawsuit in the future, by the way. Correct. Something's going to happen there. But like they need to define it. It should be NCAA hire me. I'll cut heel promos for you. I'd love that. Like it should truly just be as simple as athletes get paid 20% should be higher. But like 20% of the revenue that they bring into the university. That's all it should be. Boom, done. That's the only way to save themselves.
Correct. And I think there's two huge critical issues that I'll touch on first. And then I weirdly am usually on the show, it's me wandering through the desert on things I know nothing about. I know quite a bit about Title IX, which makes me kind of excited. But
nice.
All those documentaries on ESPN paid off. 9 for 9, True. Baby. Better than 30 for 30. A hot take.
Yeah. Well, I mean, truthfully, fuck 30 for 30 beating us out in the podcast awards. Can't believe that even happened. Insane.
That. I think about that sometimes. Like they needed it.
Yeah, right. Yeah, thank God. Who knew they had a podcast? Like, come on, guys.
100%. You've won all the video awards. Anyway, two big things. One, this is clearly the reason they're not trying to get it figured out is they are under the assumption, and unless more laws kick in, they're currently right, that it does not benefit them to have a working system. Because, because the NCAA right now is making such a large cut of the profits. And if they get into the percentage game, that will go down. Also, they didn't want this. So they want to be able to point at it and go, see what you get for paying people, which is, by the way, why they tried to preempt this by opening up the market before even the lawsuits were settled, because they're trying to now be like, well, we did do pay things and it isn't working. And they're like, no, you have to pay people. And two, and I think the other big piece is all of this stems from the fact that they are making so much money off of this. Like, that's really the, because I heard some very bad faith takes of people being like, watch out high school sports. You'll never be the same. And it's like, listen, perhaps, but the only, I'm not going to say this never hits high school sports, because honestly, some high school football programs will possibly run into it because they make so much money off of stuff that how can you argue that the generators of that profit don't deserve a share legally, besides being athletes, which goes out. So yes, that will hit. But on the fundamental scale, we are here because we were having a hard time equating with how are the largest stadiums and most profitable sports teams in America not paying anyone who
where's the
on
money
those
go?
teams. Yeah, correct. So that is the root of all of this. On the Title IX thing, to your point of like interesting rabbit holes that come out of this, I 100%, you know who's going to get screwed on this is, once again, get ready, women's sports, because what the Title IX rules dictate is, surprise, surprise, there's nothing about money in there. So they'll have to add it to it. I mean, a little peek behind the curtain, what Title IX looks like is going to very much depend on what happens in November. Because it's changed a lot since 2010 to 2016 to now, based on, honestly, just who's president. And I'm not making any comments there, but like a bunch of other things, Title IX was a huge one that gets impacted. But the big core of Title IX for sports was you just have to offer the same amount. They have to be
about opportunity.
100%. Now, do schools look at that and go, all right, we're cutting, because to that point, really schools have maybe 3 money-making sports, the big ones, and that's stretching it. So if these protections, which I'm assuming they currently don't for pay, extend to club teams, what is stopping all but, if you're going to keep basketball, baseball, and football at most universities and that's it, what's stopping a school from going to, cool, well, then we're just keeping softball, volleyball, and one other women's team to keep it even, and everything else is going. That'll be the question.
The sports who truly or the schools who truly think that they are above sports, don't care about sports, or not a sports school, blah, 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 blah. Those are the ones, like I was talking about before, that they're going to do it. Like, they know they can't just cut sports entirely because they don't make money otherwise. But, keep the ones that you have to, and then let's keep the women's sports that we don't have to. We already got a pool. Yeah. Let's keep swimming. We'll keep diving, and we'll keep synchronized swimming. I don't know if they do that in college or if it's just the Olympics. But like, truthfully, it's like, let's not invest any money into women's sports. But if we offer it, if we open the pool up for them, then we're good to go. But it is what it is. But it doesn't address the actual issue with NIL still. No. But the whole thing is like, okay, now we have agents taking advantage of college athletes, high school athletes, sometimes even earlier than that. And the NCAA is like, okay, let's ignore that. Let's give them more money. Truthfully, for just the connections that I have personally, I could fuck over the life of so many young athletes and profit immensely. Just go to the fucking local school. And by the way, don't test me because I'll do it. That's a threat, NCAA. This is on you. But like, truthfully, like, okay, there's a kid who's fucking tall. Go to the youth football camp, and I think you were one of the people who 100%. Used to have like a different colored helmet. Like, okay, boom, bullseye on that kid. He's got a big old head. He's playing college football. Like, okay, let's sign him to a nothing deal where it's like, okay, all you have to do is give me 25, 30% of your future earnings. And if you don't make money, then I don't make money. So really, no investment. Your parents are, paycheck to paycheck anyways. And I'm going to promote you forever, blah, 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 blah. Oh, the deal, it's a lifetime deal, or it's a 20-year deal.
Yeah.
And anything like that. And then all of a sudden, oh, they're good. And they go to college and they get all of this now college money. They get NIL money. They get all of this, and it all funnels to me. And then nothing. I just screw them completely over. They can't get out of it because it's legally binding, blah, 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 blah. And the NCAA has no rules because this is the wild, wild west of NIL and everything like that. And there's nothing in place. And there's going to be so many people screwed. There's going to be so many documentaries coming out about this era. And Zach Bruder is just itching to get in on it. But for some reason, I have a moral compass and I can't do it. I'm just going to talk about it on the internet and let other people do it.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not going to lie. This is one of those stories. I feel like part of the reason we don't hear about it is hard to feel hopeful about like what is the incentive to fix this system? That's my only hope, is that because if you're wondering, well, why did the court things come out this way. Well, two things. One, it was never legal to do this. They just never got called out on it. That was like the big piece, because the money, honestly, a lot of this stems from, if you look at some of the court cases that are like fundamental to this, it's fucking NCAA video games. Like, it's truly name and likeness in video games where people were like, I didn't make it to the pros and you're not giving me any money. And I'm playing as myself right now. And so that's like the big breakthrough thing. So one, if you're like, I just hate, because I'm seeing so many takes now of like, is this even what the players want? Yes, it's not on them. To all this court hearing said is, this is the worth of this industry. Like, this is what should be coming out. And yes, that adds more money to it, but that should be what's going into it. And also, this is a documentary that would be so fucking boring, but is probably what we need. How much are these athletic directors making? Like, this money is in this industry. It's just not set up for the players. So yes, universities are going to have to totally restructure. It's almost like there should have been, how come college coaches can make so much goddamn money? Well, because they weren't paying anybody else anything. So maybe we should restructure that. But I just hope this, for too long, doesn't come down so hard on the athletes who, it's going to really impact the athletes, to your point, who are going to make money in different pieces. I hope they find a way where it's like, there's so many athletes in college. It's like, I just kind of wanted to be here. I'm not going to go pro. And it's like, if they somehow get more screwed than they were already being exploited, that stinks. Like, that's the piece I don't want to come out, but probably will. I don't know. For sure.
And the bad programs are going to get even worse or non-existent.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, I don't know the fix other than there needs to be a direct competitor to the NCAA, and it's not going to be for a while, and it's just going to be football. And at that point, is the NCAA going to be like, are they going to fight for football, or are they just going to say, we'll stick with our D2, D3 football, and that's about it? Because truly no other sport matters other than maybe college basketball.
No, I think the only possible route that comes sooner is if the conferences decide that they want to go into business for themselves. But again, what do you do when, like, the SEC is a one sport conference? Like, what do you do with things like that? And I want to put this out there monetarily. Obviously, the SEC is very good at, like, softball came to mind right away. It's like, yes, you're good at other sports. I've heard is that Southern Missouri that Brett donated to? I've heard Southern Missouri, Southern Mississippi. Yeah, there you go. Yeah. One of you is really good at volleyball.
Great facilities, at least. I know that much.
Yeah. So there's obviously outliers, but it's like, what will happen there? I don't know. You know who's been awfully quiet in all this?
I have an idea, but who do you think?
Jay Billis.
Okay, yeah, he has too. I'm just thinking wrestling. I'm thinking storylines. And Jake, what's the one thing you have to do to have a comeback?
Go away.
Bingo. Who is a conference that just went away?
Oh God!
What if the Conference of Champions is coming back to save us all? They're going to bring in all the big schools for football, and then that's going to be they're going to somehow the Pac-12 is going to be the one to take down the NCAA. I can feel it.
Dude, that's Pac-12 versus NCAA is a kick-ass documentary. That's really good. What if I told you Washington
narrated
State?
By Bill Walton for sure.
100%. Yeah, is Larry Brown alive? Like, let's get some people in there. I think I think there's a big call to action here. I think what will be telling is how much people care about this. I think the biggest thing NCAA has going for it is somehow this news is still being delivered in a way where it's like, well, if players just didn't want to be paid, we wouldn't be in this mess. And it's like, they didn't even, I hate to break it to you, most of them didn't even ask. It was just like, we've gotten to this point because a few really screwed over ones asked, and then they had to look at it. And of course, this is why I mentioned Jay Billis. Jay Billis for years going out there and being like, you know, I don't think they have a case. If they bring this up, why would you need to pay athletes? They're getting scholarships. Mm-hmm. You're fucking the worst. He doesn't get enough shit. He's got a lot of bad takes under his belt.
For sure. And this news actually did come out at the perfect time for people to care about it, I think,
Yeah.
in terms of sports fans, because I mean, NBA playoffs suck. NHL people aren't watching. Baseball is before it's important, and then there's no football stuff. And even still, I feel like people don't truly really they don't care. It's just kind of boring news. Like we don't have people exciting talking about it. It's not flashy. It's not fun. We need people getting screwed over. I don't know. It's just not fun news. We need something to drive it home, but I don't know.
I think the telling point will be in the fall, and like how does this come up in the college football season in different pieces. I think what it's missing, honestly, is, and maybe this doesn't exist, but if someone comes out and is excited about this extra money, that will get the juices flowing. Because I feel like the only time we hear about it is, very unsurprisingly, college coaches being like, this sucks. I hate that we have to like go out and recruit people with money. And it's like, yeah, I bet you don't like it because you never had to, Kelly. It's always Brian Kelly.
We'll see what Saban does. Like Saban, I think could really make or break this. But I feel like a lot of college football fans right now are almost like giving the NCAA a pass because it's like Reggie Bush got his Heisman, so they get one. We got that one back. We're good.
Expanded the playoff.
Yeah, we'll see how it is. We'll see how it is this year. If we don't like it, then we'll take you down about everything.
100%.
Yeah.
Saban's a great point because he's been anti-NIL, but if he can channel that a little bit and is more specifically like it's just not being implemented correct, I think that makes a big difference.
I do think that's his take. I think he disliked NIL mostly just because it was less about like teaching and it was just even more about recruiting, which is just natural when money's involved. Like top dollar is going to bring in the best players. So it is what it is. But now that he's fully removed from that, essentially, he has kind of said that he wants to help guide the NCAA or college football or whatever into this new era and like figure out shit, because truly nothing is figured out. And I think that's what people need to mostly know. Like, I feel like that's the part that needs to be the loudest, where it's like, NCAA did a thing to cover up a thing and has no plans, and it's a clusterfuck. That's the bottom line.
By the way, the number of times NCAA has super cared about something without a plan, too many.
Yeah.
It's insane. Many. See COVID.
The NCAA is one of the most powerful and corrupt organizations in the world. Mm-hmm. And some like sports fans know it's like, yeah, they're not good. They kind of suck. I feel like most people are most mad about the college football playoff than anything else. But like I don't think people truly understand how fucking shitty they are.
Well, it gets away with it. Well, the biggest, easiest comparison is they are FIFA. They've got all the same awards. Yeah. FIFA only got called out because they finally did something that no one supported, which is they put the World Cup in Qatar. Which is, it was like, and the NCAA gets away with it because as much as like you and I are big sports fans, you might fall into the very small category of like, you are a fan of college sports and you like follow all of it. It is like your biggest passion in sports. Most people fall closer to where I am, which is I'm a Badger fan. And if it doesn't directly impact the schools, go Cats, K-State, like if it doesn't hit them, like I don't pay attention to like the grand scape too much. And I think that's where most college fans fall into, is like, it's not like you're watching the NFL. Like the NCAA gets away with having all of the benefits, but none of like the big, who's the Roger Goodell of the NCAA?
Yeah. I mean, we don't know anybody's name. It's insane. But Jake, unfortunately, the transfer portal is like this new thing that's related to all of this. Nobody lost and got hurt worse in college basketball than the Wisconsin Badgers in the transfer portal this year. And I'd like to know what Pete has to say about old Greg Gard, because I have a feeling he has something to do with it. It's not like people wanted to come play for Greg Gard. In fact, the exact opposite happened. And they went to Bill Self. They went to other people like that. Like, what are we doing, Greg?
Well,
he got an extension. Didn't he get an extension?
I think he might have an extension. He got an extension. Yeah, I can't listen. I'll get more interviews from Pete. We got to bring that segment back. I kind of forgot about it. Yeah, I gotta bring his take back in. I will tell you, this is anecdotal, but his exact reaction to it was, this might do Greg in. Like, it's not like his fault thing. Like, he recognizes the writing on the wall, but like, it's something that's happening to him.
Right. And you know what? I hope it does him in, but I don't think the fact that they gave him an extension at the same time it happened tells me we talked about it earlier. These college coaches are pocketing all this money. Like, maybe Storr could have used some of that money to stay.
Well, I don't know. That'll be, and this is my last Badger thought, but it'll be interesting what they do, because this is the decision schools have to make. They're kind of caught in between, like, are we a football school? Are they going to pick? Because lately, the last 10 years, I don't think it's a question like the basketball team is better.
More successful, but we're still a football school.
Still a football school, so we'll see him. Because, by the way, no one likes that fucking guy right now either. So,
yeah, that's true. There's at least optimism. With Greg Gard, it's like,
no,
boy.
But they broke the one good old boy rule Wisconsin has, which is, how did they expect people to like the new coach when Jim Leonard was right there? Like, I know. That wasn't even official, but just the rumors of like, oh, you're not going to give – Leonard's done his time. Like, we're just so loyal. We don't even know if he wanted the job. We're like, okay. And now that he didn't get the defensive coordinator job for the Packers, we're like, what the fuck was that for?
Yeah, poor Jim. Poor Jim. Let's get him on payroll somewhere. But I think I said this time last year as well, like, Wisconsin's going to get crucified if they're not good. Because not only did we not give Jim Leonard the job, we started passing the football. And every old Wisconsin person's like, why don't we just run the damn football on first down? That's all we need.
Franklin Allen's like, he's 18. He's 18 and he's the size of a semi-truck. Why are we handing him the ball?
Yeah, which is true. Like, I'm not saying they're wrong, but it's like 3 yards is all we need. Get 3 yards 4 times. Guess what? That's a first down.
It's true. And they can't get out of their recruiting scheme. Like, no matter what you do, 5 guys the size of Pillsbury Doughboys come to the offensive line.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Not last year.
No.
Not last year.
We'll see what happens. But, Zach, I have a segment to talk about with everyone's favorite sport, the NFL. Because it's time. It's in the air. The schedules are out. So it was on my mind. Thank God.
Biggest news.
That's right. And I have a segment I think we could bring back. It's called Sweating the Little Things, because I was just thinking about the NFL, and one stat really jumped out at me in one player. But I'm going to start you with this stat because I'm going to give you a list of names, and they all have, I think, 2 notable things in common. So I want you to see what they can name in common, because I dove way too deep on this particular issue coming up in the NFL, okay?
Okay.
So here is your list of names. Tommy DeVito, Daniel Jones, Davis Mills, Justin Herbert, Baker Mayfield, and Nate Peterman.
Okay, they're all white.
That's one.
That was a pretty obvious one. Everything they all have in common. They were all 4-year college players. I don't know.
Oh, Zach, I wish. And it brings us to our actual person discussion today. They are all people who at one point beat out Tyrod Taylor to be starting quarterbacks in the NFL. Or you could argue for some of them, people he should have definitely started over at some point. So, yeah, because this list, and you mentioned it, Zach, all white, I would argue, especially when he was there, all mediocre. Even Phillip.
Not Herbert, but yeah.
Well, we'll get into it. Because Herbert ended up being good, but it was pretty early.
Well, I mean, we all remember I said he's 12th best. I was pretty adamant on that. Like, I don't think I wasn't crowning him, but he was okay. You know who Tyrod didn't beat out, though? Elite Joe Flacco.
That's correct.
Put him in his place.
And so here's the thing. First off, I'm going to respond to a text, which is not good, but someone just texted me, yo, did you call me? No. All good.
Okay.
So those are my favorite ones to respond to. And then here's this, Zach. Tyrod Taylor, coming up, has gone signed to the New York Jets. And this is what jumped out to me. He, for what seems like the 100th time in his career, is at a spot where he could play, but probably won't. And also, definitely did better last year than you think he did for probably the millionth time. And so, Zach, here's the segment for you. I literally went through Tyrod's career, and I just want to talk through it. Because what happened to this guy is a tragedy.
Yeah, for sure. 100%.
And also funny. Because how does all of this happen to the same person? So, because it started back, Zach, and I will also say, one of the best stats I've ever stumbled upon is in this. So get ready for that. It comes kind of early. 2015, he debuts with the Bills. Here's my first question to you as we go. Do you remember who his head coach was in Buffalo in 2015? A hint, he had just gone out of a stint from a job where he was much more famous.
It was Rex, right?
100%. Rex Ryan. By the way, sneaky ally, Rex. That comes out in this story. It's almost
players coach.
100% players coach. His staff likes him. And, he uplifts people. We give Tomlin the credit. Give Rex some shine. He did a good job.
I agree. And Rob. Why not? Give Rob some shine.
Get him in there. But so in 2015, so here's the things to know. First 2 seasons under Rex, this is his golden era, okay? Rookie season, year 2. 1, he should have won Rookie of the Year. He threw.
Not a rookie.
Oh, not a rookie. Sorry. He should have won something. He was really good in 2015.
MVP. Why not?
100%. So his first 2 years, he threw over 3,000 yards and rushed for over 500 in both seasons. This was most impressive to me, only 12 interceptions total, 6 each year.
Yeah.
Including the big thing for him. He broke the Bills record for most consecutive passes without an interception.
And he brought the Bills back to relevancy.
100. He reignited Bills Mafia. Like Scott McDermott would come back in and be like, "We're not rebuilding," and it's like because of him. He's the only reason you're not rebuilding. And also this stat, which is in his rookie year, he became only this is from Wikipedia. So it goes without saying. I tried to validate it, and that's why I bring it up. Because according to Wikipedia, he became only the 5th quarterback in NFL history to have a game where he passed for over 100 yards, ran for over 70 yards, and caught a pass. I could not find that list. I tried so hard. Dude, it took me an hour of just like Mike Vick. No, like I was just combing through names of like, who are the other 4 quarterbacks on that list?
Wow. Yeah. Who would be on there?
What, maybe 70 yards? What a random, like I was like, that's what grabbed me. Like I was like, okay, what's the list? Nothing. I found one other name.
Okay.
Fran Tarkenton.
Sure. That motherfucker did everything.
Yeah, I just looked up running quarterbacks and I was like, of course you're on here. But no, I couldn't find anything. Randall Cunningham and Mike Vick didn't seem to be on the list.
Maybe Brett. Brett did some weird stuff.
I was like, is it going to be someone like Vince Young? Honestly, after it wasn't Vick or Cunningham, I gave up. But I was just like, you can't just, like, what stat is this? And it was like, I'm sure they grabbed it from, like, it was on screen, like, during the game or whatever. But, so Tyrod, pretty good his first 2 years, And now we get into the tragedy, all right? So 3rd year, in comes Scotty McDermott. We are now, Zach, it's week 10. The Bills are pretty stinky. They're having a tough time. And Tyrod gets out of a game where he was bad. But the Bills are, at this point, the worst ranked offense in the league. Like, I can't stress how much it's not his fault. And Zach, who replaces him? But I think a guy who should be remembered as one of the worst people to ever play the NFL, only because he had to replace Tyrod. They took him out, put in Nate Peterman.
Yeah.
We've talked about this before. Folks, if you haven't heard this, this is why I wanted to revisit. This is one of the most racist things they've ever done in the NFL, because here's why. At that point, on that bad a team, Tyrod had the 9th best QBR in the league. Yep. So he came off 2 terrible games, but it was clearly they were just looking for an excuse to put in his boy Peterman. It was like one of those years where they wanted to trade him but couldn't get it done. So, now here's our chance. Zach, here's some reasons they gave. This is from either McDermott himself or members of the Bills front office. Said, we've chosen Peterman as our starting quarterback going forward because he's more prototypical at quarterback.
White.
He's better, 100%, better at reading the field.
Okay.
And passing from the pocket.
Everyone knows touchdowns from the pocket earn more points than out of the pocket.
100%. And Zach, they stuck to this conviction. I did forget how fast they faced the karma of this decision for exactly 1/2 of one football game, because
not a great half.
No, not a great half. I grabbed the stats. Don't you worry. This is our redemption, because he went 6 for 14 with 64 yards and 5 interceptions.
Yeah.
They bring Tyrod back in. He throws for 200 yards and 2 touchdowns.
Not good enough.
No, because, and this is the true tragedy of Tyrod, he gets a knee injury, so he misses the next 2 games. They bench him. He was available to come back. They chose not to have him come back. So they pick Peterman as their starter. They now trade him away. Now, this is where the fun comes in. Do you remember what team he goes to next? I gave you a hint with the quarterbacks at the start, but any idea where he goes following this? I will tell you it's not one of the more eventful ones.
Not Cleveland?
It's Cleveland. It's Cleveland.
Oh,
but the big thing in Cleveland, this is what makes me mad. He gets beat out by a guy for like his whole career. I don't know at what point people decided he wasn't good enough to start. But once the Buffalo thing happened, he goes to Cleveland the year they draft Baker. So they're like, we're going to start you. And then when Baker's ready, he comes in. Well, guess what? This was fun. He, in the first game, does lead the Browns to the first game they don't lose in over a year, because in 2017, they went 0-16. So he leads them to their first non-loss in over a year. It is, of course, a tie, which I just thought was the most Browns thing ever. Like, hey, the streak's over. We still didn't win. But
they opened the Budweiser chest.
Yeah, there you go. Week 3, after 2 pretty decent weeks, injured. Replaced again, never looked back. 2 weeks later, again, he was ready to go. Still done. So he's done there. Oh, Zach, does Cleveland keep him? No. Now he goes. This is where I was like, this is worth talking about, because he goes to San Diego. And not only does he, he's already only getting scraps, because the only reason he goes to San Diego, Anthony Lynn is his former offensive coordinator.
Yep.
Once again, thank you, Rex, uplifting the people.
True.
He brings him in, says, all right, you're going to start until Justin Herbert's ready. Maybe give you some love, get you ready. Do you want to explain to the people how this motherfucker got hurt in week 2?
Well, he got hurt, broke his ribs. And he's like, I'm not letting this fucking happen to me again. Inject me with any painkiller needed so I don't miss any time. And they're like, okay, bet. And then they stabbed his lung and deflated it with the needle. And then they're like, oh, you can't play. Oh, no.
An athletic trainer punctured his lung.
Yeah.
The call's coming from inside the house, people. This stinks. By the way, game 1 that he played that year, totally healthy, over 200 yards. He's
really well.
Good at football. So again, he's out. By the way, he was ready to return once again at week 4. This guy is also sneaky superhuman. So he goes to Houston. Now he's, again, the only reason he gets the call, surprise, surprise. And this will tell you how good he is in practices and things, people can see it. Because former QB coach for the Bills, David Culley, little remembered now, he was the head coach at the time in Houston. He says, come in, you're going to be a backup, but we'll never need you, because why would Deshaun Watson miss any time? Well, Deshaun Watson has some issues at massage parlors. So, allegedly. So, not that allegedly. But in comes Tyrod. And Zach, this to me was the first stint I can remember where it's like he killed it while he was playing for Houston in that little stretch. And I say little stretch because one game he goes 21 for 33 for 291 yards, 2 touchdowns, and rushed for 50 yards. He then injures his hamstring. And Zach, this is where it's sad because he lost his job to Davis Mills.
Yeah.
Why Davis Mills?
They just keep getting more and more white and bland.
That guy's got 2 last names.
Yeah, not good. He's named after Jefferson Davis. Like, that's not good.
No. When he's one of the worst cereal companies, General Mills.
True, yeah.
But here's the NFL does this sometimes. This was the larger point I was arriving to, which is they just decide at some point, you're not good enough, so you're a journeyman. The number of times that happens to not white people is alarming. And I'm
Sure
not
is,
listen, the McCowns are right there. I know what happened to them. Like, it's not exclusive, but like poor Tyrod, he plays good. He's a backup. And then I think maybe the most underrated time of his career, which is what the fuck just happened in New York? Because he gets to the Giants and he comes into a game in week 5 of 2022 and Jones sprains his ankle. Tyrod, you're in. He has a good game. 4th quarter of that game, concussion, out. So he doesn't even get to start a game there. Last season, Zach, and maybe this is the epitome of Tyrod's career. Obviously, all the issues in New York. Jones gets a neck injury in week 5. In comes Tyrod. He plays pretty good. He starts the next game for them. Zach, he was the second black quarterback ever to play for the Giants. I will give you, you know what, for our money game, I'll give you $5 straight up if you can name the other black quarterback who started a game for him. A hint, it was within the last 10 years.
The Giants?
Yeah.
Geno never went there, did he?
It's Geno. It's
Is it?
clone.
Okay.
It's twin brother in tragedy, Geno Smith, who I feel like the same thing happened to. So there's $5 for you. Yeah, kind of.
Wow. Pete Carroll at least gave Geno a chance.
Well, now he finally got it. So in comes Tyrod. He starts a couple games for him. This is where I'm like, this is egregious. He plays a couple games for them. He's on a streak. He gets hurt. Oh, no. In comes fucking Tommy DeVito.
Yeah. Not only is it just Tommy DeVito, everyone in America is like, Tommy Cutlets. About time he's here. Like, fuck Tyrod. Let's just throw him away.
Everyone was so excited for Tommy DeVito. And then guess what? Tyrod beats him back out again. Quietly last year, he played in 11 games. He started 5 of them. He threw for over 1,300 yards, 5 touchdowns.
Yeah,
he still had a top
well.
20 QB passer rating.
He's a good football player still.
He's a good football player still. And here's where he ends up. Now he's playing for the Jets, as we started with. And here's the thing, Zach, because I'm calling my shot right now.
Yeah.
Tyrod gets opportunities and then has life rip them away. So Rodgers is going to miss some time. Tyrod's going to end up playing. But if you are a fantasy owner, don't draft Tyrod Taylor. And don't draft third stringer. I think his name's Jordan Davis. I didn't really look at it. Don't draft him.
There? Okay.
He's there, I think. But here's why you don't draft him. He's also a little banged up, so he won't get an opportunity. You know who will, though, Zach?
Who's
Fourth stringer, former Wyoming quarterback. This motherfucker's name is Andrew Peasley. And I guarantee you Tyrod Taylor gets benched for Andrew Peasley. I can feel it in my bones. He belongs on the list next to Nate Peterman, Tommy DeVito, Davis Mills, Andrew Peasley.
God, you're right. The name that actually popped into my head, who I think who will rival Andrew Peasley, is Tim Boyle.
Fuck, Tim Boyle.
He's also in the mix. He's in the mix.
This is insane. Why is this happening to Tyrod?
I don't know, but as soon as Tyrod signed there, I did message Trevor and Luke, and I'm like, I don't know if I can bet on like the Jets this year, because the only thing we know for sure about the NFL is that Tyrod Taylor will get a chance and he will get hurt. That's the only thing that's guaranteed in life.
I know. So I will say the reason I actually brought it up was because twofold. One, I'm just obsessed with the minutia and the fact that this shit keeps happening. He got his lung punctured by his own doctor.
Yeah. It was a big deal for a couple weeks, but then we just kind of were like, oh, it happens. Like it's a freak accident. Is it? I'm not sure if it is.
He got benched for Nate Peterman and is the first black quarterback to ever win a game for the Giants. Like, how does that happen to the same guy? Also, and here's the real deal, I kind of in my head was like, it's a shame he gets hurt all the time. He does, but he's never missed like more than a 3-game stretch for these injuries. Like he comes back. And I know it's a lot at this point, so maybe you could argue that's hurt his stock, but like I just don't think he was ever given like the same amount of rope that other guys have gotten.
Only by Rex, truthfully.
100%, which is my thesis statement. We need Rex Ryan back.
Bingo. I'm for it. I'm 100% for that.
He's better than Saleh.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, for sure.
They'd get along.
I think Tyrod would get along with Belichick as well. I could see Belichick going there. I think he'd work.
I don't know if he's Belichick's type.
Belichick coached Cam.
100%. You know who could also belong on that list? Mac Jones. In comes Belichick. In comes Mac.
Yeah. Yeah. Mac Jones is up. I mean, Mac Jones at least had success in college. I feel like you can't even have to have success in college. AJ McCarron's a great one. Yeah. Drew Lock.
Yeah. Hey, he's getting an opportunity. But
yeah.
No,
that's who the Giants replaced him with. He's in New York.
Fuckers. Yeah, that's true. So Zach, that leads us to a game, and I am excited about this game because it is. I'm calling it the white quarterback shuffle. So Zach, I have a list here of, and you'll see how the game works immediately. It's a little fun. I think if I'm doing my math right, because you'll have 10 matchups, so that's 11 quarterbacks, all white. Except for one surprise entrant. Hint, hint, it will eventually be Tyrod. But here's how the game works, Zach, and I'll give you an example off the bat that I'm not actually using. I will give you 2 quarterbacks. You have to tell me which one has the most career touchdowns between those 2. And then I will get
total touchdowns?
Total touchdowns in their career. And then I'll get rid of the name I say first because it'll be like a linear list. And then that second guy, I'll compare him to another one. And then we move on down the list till we're done.
Okay.
So there are, and double checking your math is important, people. So I'm going to make sure here it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 matchups for you. I think you got to get 7 right to get the money today. You now with that last $5 are down. I think 15 or 10.
We'll call it 15. I don't
call it. I think we were at. Yeah, I think it's 15. So I'm going to give you 10 if you get it right here. So that would bring you down to a 5-point deficit. I will say, because I'll put this on the table, I'm willing to spice it up right now. If you agree, I will give you. If you get 10 for 10, I'll double it. But if you get less than 5, I get 5.
On top, you get 10 if I don't win anyway, but you would get 15, you mean?
Oh, no, we'll just double it. I forget that I get 10 if you don't win.
Okay. Sure. Gotta go
because
perfect.
Otherwise, wait, if you just don't get it, I get $10?
Yeah.
If we always play it that way?
Yes. This is an every week conversation. This will be a Well, someone cut all of the times that Jake's been confused about the money, please.
Oh, it's so dumb. Okay, sounds good. Tell you what, I can't keep up with that, so I will just say, let's see how the list goes, and we'll make a wager if you're feeling good.
Okay,
about
blank check is on the line. Here we go.
it. No, all right, you get 10 if you get more than 7. I get 10, I guess, if you get less than 7.
Correct.
Sounds good. By the way, now I'm getting defensive over a system I definitely co-opted. So there you go. So Zach, to start, here you go. Who has more career touchdowns? Cooper Rush. And by the way, I picked these names. I literally went to an NFL quarterback wheel and I just spun it a bunch of times. So the order's random. So First matchup, Cooper Rush versus Davis Mills. Who has more career touchdowns?
That is interesting. I feel like Cooper Rush played more. Did he play more games? He had a little quick run. Ben DiNucci then I think came in for him, and he also had a little bit of a stretch there. I'll still go. Davis Mills is so fucking bad. I'm gonna go Davis Mills.
You didn't overthink it. That's one. There you go. Cooper Rush's stint was incredibly short. Even though Davis Mills played bad football, he got to play a lot of it, as we mentioned.
Okay.
So he has 35 career touchdowns. Cooper had 8. So
less than I thought.
Yes. So his stint was small. So there you go. So now you know Davis Mills. He's at 35. Now again, this was random. So does Davis Mills have more career touchdowns than Gardner Minshew?
No, Gardner's got more.
Correct. Not particularly close. Gardner Minshew has 59.
Okay.
Again, another guy you forget. He played quite a bit for Jackson.
He might be starting this year for the Raiders.
Yeah, that's scary. All right. And like I said, some of these are giving me, Zach. I think there are some tough ones in here, but you're doing good. So you're at 2 right now. Does Gardner Minshew have more career touchdowns than Kenny Pickett?
Yeah.
That is correct.
How many does Kenny have? Let me take a wild guess how many Kenny has.
Got it.
Kenny
if you hit it
basically
exactly, I'll give you $5.
He played, I think, pretty close to 2 full seasons then. I think he's got 15 touchdowns.
Oh, fuck. That's close. 13.
Yeah, not many. It was not good.
Not many. So now you got Kenny Pickett. And again, some of these gets tough. This one, not tough. Is it Kenny Pickett or Kirk Cousins?
Oh, yeah, Kirk.
All right. Do you want to take a stab at his? It's tougher, so I'll make the same wager for you. Total touchdowns in his career.
I can't even remember when he first came to the league. I'll go with Kirk has 100, 215.
The adjustment was right. Still higher. He's got 270 touchdowns.
Okay. Yeah.
And now, Zach, I think we started to get into the weeds a bit because this is where the random wheel gave me some spicy ones. Okay. Is Kirk Cousins' career touchdown total, so 270, higher than Joe Flacco's?
Whether I believe it or not, I cannot turn against Joe Flacco. I think Joe Flacco has more. He threw at least 10,000 to Torrey Smith, I think. So, Joe Flacco.
It seems that way. Zach, I regretfully have to inform you.
Really?
He's got a lot.
Do we count playoff Joe? Because playoff Joe threw for at least 1,000.
You know what? I don't know if this counts playoff touchdowns. So that might make it close because it's 270 for Kirk, 245 for Joe.
I would be interested to know. Well, I'll look at a little bit, just like how many he threw it in the playoffs, because he threw a lot. He's good.
Kirk's got very few.
Correct.
So he might catch him on that. This next one, Zach, does Joe Flacco have more touchdowns than, and you are 3 for 4 so far, so this is a good stretch for you, Andy Dalton? Joe Flacco or Andy Dalton, career touchdowns?
That one is a spicy one.
Yeah.
Wow. Andy Dalton played sneaky good football for a long time, and we just gave him so much shit. I think Andy Dalton has more.
He does have more, Zach. You are 4 out of 5. How many more do you think he has than Joe Flacco?
Probably not a ton. I'd go like 25 more.
Yeah. He's got 1 more touchdown.
Wow. Okay. Nice.
Yeah,
Nice.
I was happy that worked out. Yeah, 246 to 245. At one point, I was going to do yards, and then I saw that one, and I was like, no, we're doing tutties. So there you go. So Andy Dalton, 246. Does he have more or less than Zach Wilson?
More.
He does
Couple
have
more.
more. All right. See the list, give him the list, take him away. You're back on track to 5 out of 6. And now we get into Shitsville, Zach, because down the run here, who has more touchdowns, Zach Wilson or Mason Rudolph?
Wow. Man, I hate Mason Rudolph.
You do. You and Myles Garrett.
Yeah, us too. I would happily fight on Myles Garrett's side. I'm going to go with Mason Rudolph, though.
Mason Rudolph has 4 less touchdowns than Zach
Really?
Wilson.
Okay.
Yeah. So
maybe we're grading Zach too hard, huh?
I don't think so.
Okay.
He's got 23. Mason's got 19. So I think they just both stink. But that means you are out of
2 wrong, whatever it is.
8. Yeah, I think you're at 2 wrong out of 8. And now these 2, by the way, I think could be stunt doubles for each other. Who's got more career touchdowns, Mason Rudolph or Mitch Trubisky?
Mitch, for sure.
For sure, not close. Mitch has 72 touchdowns. And that, Zach, brings you to 7 out of 9.
Okay.
So you are guaranteed to win.
It's the final boss, right?
It's the final boss. And if you're willing, I'll make it a $5 swing. If you get this right, I'll add 5 to your total. But if you get it wrong, you only win $5.
Okay. Yeah, sure.
All right, there you go. Yeah, we like to bet here on the
Yeah, I do.
Los Fleury Deportes. So, Zach, we knew who's coming. He finally gets his day in the sun. Now, the question to you is for an extra $5, who has more career touchdowns, Mitch Trubisky with 72 or Tyrod Taylor?
Yeah, so Tyrod's not a huge touchdown guy, as we said. So, but he's got low interceptions. But we have to include rushing touchdowns. Mitch, sneaky athletic, though. Can't forget about that. Tyrod has to have more. I'm going Tyrod with more. If not, you contradict your entire fucking argument previously.
And the question you need to ask yourself is, would I contradict myself for an extra $5? And I would, baby. I'm part of the problem. He's got 7 more. I wanted it to work out where I know it's he's only got 75 to 82. So no, reverse 65 to 72.
Well, that's a shame.
That is a shame. I will. How's this? To reinvigorate my point, if you can pull this out of your ass, I'll give you back up. No penalty because it's hard as hell, and I'll bring you back up to 10. If you can name a quarterback who has within 10 touchdowns of Tyrod that wasn't on this list, I'll give it to you. He's got 65. You just pull a quarterback out of your ass, and if he's got within 65 by 10, you get the $10.
Okay, I can do this. Within 65.
Yeah, so 75 to 55 is your range.
Okay. My strategies my strategy's younger quarterbacks, but I can't do drafted 2 years ago because notably they were all fucking terrible. Like Kenny Pickett was the best of the bunch.
Yeah, right.
And we already said he had 15 or something. No, that's a bad guess. I almost went Jordan Love, but no.
Mm-hmm.
What's the number again?
You need 75 to 55.
Okay. We will go with. Can it be a former player?
Yeah, go for it. Are you
Why do I-
Googling? You're
No,
looking-
no. I'm just staring into space because I'm just wondering
Oh, good.
how cheeky I want to get with this one.
Oh, I like it.
Like, let's compare the two careers of these guys. Because Tyrod, journeyman.
Yeah.
Josh McCown, journeyman.
Ooh.
Josh
Now-
McCown played for 35 years. I have to. I hope they end up with the exact number of touch. I think it's probably close because I don't think he really started that often. So I'm going to go Josh McCown.
Josh McCown, Zach, ends up with 111 career touchdowns. He played for too long. Oh, by the way, I looked up Luke, 9.
Yeah, not many. Luke was not my guess.
I just want to see. My guess, because on your young strategy, I was like, and this would have been brutal. I was like, okay, who's the best quarterback 3 years ago? Joe Burrow is.
I guess he got hurt a lot, though.
76. So he would have missed
Ooh.
by 1.
Damn.
But
Yeah.
but you didn't go that. I like your McCown guess a lot. The one I thought you were gonna say, because I was thinking about the whole time we were talking. Let's see how close Ryan Fitzpatrick is.
Oh, no, he's way higher.
Way higher?
Yeah. He's been a starter for
Oh, way higher.
multiple teams.
Way
Yeah.
higher. Yeah, I kind of forgot how long he started places. Okay.
Oh, what about Tua?
Okay. Hey, by the way, folks, this is the show. I'd love just
Yeah.
what about? Just name him.
By the way, Joe Flacco, 26 passing touchdowns in the playoffs, 1 rushing, it looks like. So 27 extra touchdowns for Joe Flacco if you include playoffs. In only
Okay.
16 games.
And now how many does Kirk have?
Ooh.
So what was the number for Joe? I'll keep track. 26.
Joe in the playoffs was
2's got
20
81 career touchdowns, by the way.
okay. Joe's got 27, including rushing.
Okay.
Kirk Cousins has. How many do you think he's got?
10.
He has. Interesting. He has 7, with 2 of them being rushing.
Okay, so let's do some interesting math here. 245 was Joe's career number. You add 27 to that, you get 272. Kirk still squeaks by him, even if you only gave him the 5, because he's at 270. So it's much closer. If you add the career touchdowns, it's 277. If you only make it throwing, it's 275. He would still have him beat by 4.
In 5 career playoff games, Kirk Cousins has 5 touchdowns. And we say, it's not Kirk's fault. Maybe
By
it's
the way, who's better between those two? Different question.
Well, yeah, obviously. I'm just saying. Everyone's
100%.
like, you know what? We were wrong to shame Kirk for so long. No, we weren't. We're
Not at all.
fine.
He's an accumulator. That's his whole thing.
Yeah.
Also, by the way, you know what name is fun on that list? You called it out. Andy Dalton doesn't get enough love. Well, especially touchdowns, because some of those years he fucking led the league. AJ Green's hauling him in.
He was an MVP candidate one of the years that he got hurt.
Yeah. By the way, Tyron, Pro Bowler, rookie year. Or first year with the Bills.
Yeah, not rookie year. I think rookie year he won a Super Bowl with the Ravens. One of his first years.
Yeah, let's look that up, because that wasn't coming up in his Wikipedia page. But,
Am I wrong
not
about that?
they were focused on other things like he's the 5th quarterback ever to tie his shoes while chewing bubble gum.
He played 3 years for the Ravens. So, yeah, Super Bowl champion.
Well, there you go. By the way, better than Kirk.
Honestly.
It's rings, baby.
Yep. Pro Bowler. Yeah, Pro Bowler his first year with the Bills. So he spent, a few years learning behind Joe Flacco.
Mm-hmm.
And then he really took off. 6th rounder. Who'd have thunk it?
That's right.
Good for him.
So, Zach, this year in the NFL, root for Tyrod.
Yeah.
And Stephon Diggs. He's the other
No.
one. Oh,
He'll
really?
never
In
root-
Houston?
I hate Stephon Diggs. Fuck him.
Oh.
He's the reason why I'm confident Houston's not going to be as good.
Wow. Really? I think he's going to shine somewhere else.
He'll make a couple plays, and I think he'll have the spotlight on him. But you know what? If he starts screaming at CJ Stroud, D'Amico might punch him right in the mouth. So he might be day to day after that.
That's true. But you got to root for D'Amico.
Love D'Amico. I don't hate the Texans. I just don't really like Stephon Diggs.
Who are the players you would say you're rooting for the most this year?
Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah.
I am rooting for not a player, but player in a way is Andy Reid. I'll always root for Andy Reid. Who am I rooting for? I'm a big Jake Ferguson guy. I like him quite a bit. Not that I want Dallas to succeed.
Yeah, that's super. That's
Penei Sewell. Penei Sewell should be the first offensive lineman MVP, by the way. Why not?
I wish you could give it to him. I think you should give it to him and then give Joe Thomas one. A random one.
Retroactively, he should get a few. Yeah, for sure. He should have ownership shares of the Browns.
100%. Every player who plays left tackle for the Browns should have to legally change their name to Joe Thomas.
Honestly, the Packers had a linebacker named Joe Thomas, and he was my favorite player just because of that for a while.
Yeah, I love that. The other one I had I don't mean to be controversial because I don't think you're going to agree with me, but
Deshaun Watson. I'm not a big Deshaun Watson guy, Jake.
I should have left that as open. I'm rooting for Jordan Love. I am.
Yeah, you're not alone. You're not alone.
No. Listen, the Packers, now they run. I think that's fair. I kind of like him. Like, I think he's fun to root for. And, like, who knows? I think he still has, what he's kind of got written all over him? The Packers did get it right, and he's not going to be a Packer forever. That's, like, what I think is going to happen is, like, you did invest in me, but you didn't didn't extend me enough, and I'm going to leave.
They'll extend them before the preseason.
I don't know, but if they don't,
they will, and it's going to be fucking painful. He's going to get $65 million guaranteed per year,
and maybe I won't feel the same way about him then when he's overpaid. But I'm rooting for him. I think it'd be fun if he was really good. And then, lastly, just for fun, let's pick a defensive guy. What's Khalil Mack up to?
Still on the Chargers.
Get it together a little bit. I don't know.
Yeah. Come on, Khalil.
I don't have my
6 sacks in a game last year.
I don't have my whole heart in that, but let's get together a little bit. And then lastly, Van Ginkel.
Is he on the Vikings now? I think.
Is he? I thought he was.
I think so.
I'm out. There. See ya. Never mind. I knew I was right to hate you.
He's a stud. There's a few people I like.
We're the Chanel.
Not Chanel, Leo Chanel. I am rooting for him with the Chiefs for sure. Yeah. Why can't I think of the Iowa Jack Campbell, the linebacker for the Lions? I feel like he's just an old. He needs to show up with a neck roll. Someone needs to do that, and it needs to be him. If Jack Campbell is playing for Dan Campbell with a neck roll on, boy, I mean, what a time!
So excited.
I will be so excited. What a great time that would be. I'm trying to think of rookies I'm excited for. I guess I don't really know. I'd like to see Drake May play well.
Who's that guy I keep seeing on TikToks for the Titans who talks like he's never left the team?
Oh, I love that guy. Xavier Leggett, I think.
Yeah.
He's foghorn leghorn, dude.
100% he is. Well, I woke up today to play some football.
He's awesome. He's incredible. He needs to be mic'd up every game.
He's good. And by the way, talk about a guy who doesn't get enough credit for how fun he sounds in interviews. I want Geno Smith to do good.
Yeah. I'm not confident. That whole Seahawks team, and behind him now, Sam Howell. So it's like, do we give Sam Howell the shot?
Sam Howell, who the NFL spotlighted for Pacific Islander Awareness Month, by the way.
Did they?
Yeah, 100%. I didn't do the research on that before coming on the show, but they definitely highlighted him, and I've been confused about it ever since.
Is that now? Or
it was, I think, April. And I've just been sitting on it. Like,
was he the only one they said? Or did they say like and Panay Sewell and people like that?
Well, I think it was just like they were spotlighting random ones, and to be honest, I think my eyes went to Sam Howell a little bit.
What? Is he part of the bloodline? What's going on?
Hold on. I really hope I'm thinking of the right guy because I just looked it up.
There's no way. There's no shot.
I was just thinking of someone. It might not be him because he's from North Carolina.
Yeah. And he eats chicken tenders for every meal. That's his
Who
thing.
was I thinking of? Hold on. They just highlighted him because I even looked it up to confirm with whoever it was. Maybe it wasn't Sam Howell. Who is the Commanders quarterback this year?
Now it's Jaden Daniels, who's a rookie. Backing him up is, I don't know. I actually don't know who's backing him up.
It's not this. You didn't get to this before I did, but I don't want even someone listening to this to go, I'm not fucking thinking of Marcus Mariota. So leave me alone because he's the backup there.
Okay.
Yes, that would be fucking wild. Who was I thinking of? I don't know. Maybe that's the name of the show.
By the way, I just typed into Google NFL Pacific Islanders, and the first article that came up is why are Samoans overrepresented in the NFL? Why are we taking that stance? Too many Samoans. Let's cut them down. Why are we doing that?
By the way, okay, so it was Asian American and Pacific Islander Heritage Month. That's
Sam Howell, notable Asian. Yeah.
It was someone who I was like, Ni hao, go fuck yourself.
Ni hao. That's the title of the episode.
That sucks, dude. Who am I thinking of? Monte Teo? Probably not.
Probably not, yeah.
Young Wei Gu.
Yeah, for sure.
I'm going down the list of people they recognize this month, just trying to find it desperately.
You're naming some pretty obvious ones, I feel like, right now.
Well, that's why. Oh, man, why didn't I write this down? That's the story of my life. Oh, my God. It was – who was it? Oh, Jesus. I don't know. See you next week. To find it out.
Write it in for us, please. Comment below.
Some white guy?
I would probably say no if it's for Pacific Islander Month.
That was why I paid attention to it.
I'll just assume it's Sam Howell. Okay. We'll see you next week. Bye.
It was Sam Howell, motherfuckers. We're back, dude. We cut off. We're in. We Googled. He's part Korean.
Sam Howell's part Korean. That's why he eats his chicken tenders with chopsticks. Who knew? I didn't know.
By the way, Sam Howell, part Korean, half Samoan.
So he's
born and raised in Hawaii. Born and raised in Hawaii.
So he's a quarter white? Or what's the quarter?
Yeah, and it just happens to be the front quarter, you know? It's just the part we can see. But, you know, it's what's on the inside that counts. And for him, that's, you know, API, baby. But yeah, okay, thank God I brought up the right guy. Yeah, he was highlighted AAPI Heritage Month, and I was like, why the fuck are we highlighting Sam Howell?
I hope he wasn't the poster child for it, but sure, I guess.
Yeah, I thought it was you were, by the way, born in North Carolina. Wikipedia, you didn't help me out much.
He's born in, so.
Yeah, dude, this is getting wild. Okay, so Wikipedia says he was born in Waynesville, North Carolina.
Okay. Notable Hawaiian population.
And
you went to high school in North Carolina.
What the fuck is happening? And then Sam Howell. I looked up Sam Howell Korean because we found that first. There's an article. If you Google that, it says Sam Howell reflects on Korean heritage in wake of his grandmother's passing. The sentence they highlight is born and raised in Hawaii and half Samoan.
Huh. Yeah,
I think he may have upplayed. I think he may have lied.
For his personal life on Wikipedia, it says Howell is part Korean. His American grandfather met his Korean grandmother while stationed in Korea during the Korean War. And then also, as a side note, he has never eaten any beef or seafood, with chicken being his only meat in his diet. Doesn't mention chicken fingers, but if you recall, if he goes out to eat, he brings his own chicken fingers with him because he is a child.
Correct. Because he is a child. So here's the thing. Was he ever in Hawaii?
That is true. I'm not seeing that on Wikipedia. I mean, so Sam Howell, defend your honor. Sam Howell, Hawaii. Sam Howell, Hawaii. Excited to be a Seahawk.
Just that one article that says he was born and raised in Hawaii.
He wasn't, though.
No, not at all. By the way, you know who wrote that? Fucking the Commanders. So they've gotten things wrong before.
Classic Dan Snyder trying to control the narrative. Yeah, there's no way. He went to high school in North Carolina. He was born in North Carolina.
Oh my God. I figured out what's happening. Oh, this is even dumber. Okay, I figured out what's happening. So you Google it. You Google Sam Howell, Korean. It takes you that article talking about his grandmother's passing. By the way, this should go without saying, I'm not dunking on Sam Howell. Just thought it was an interesting choice to highlight. By the way, I didn't see them highlight Panay Sewell. I did see them highlight Marcus Mariota. And speaking of Marcus, what Google was doing was grabbing the part of the article in the website. Born and raised Hawaii, half Samoan, of course, new Commanders quarterback, Marcus Mariota.
Right, replacing Sam Howell, kind of.
So they're in the same website. So it went and grabbed language from that article. So
this is how rumors get spread, by the way.
By the way, Sam Howell not half Samoan.
No. All it says is part Korean is all Wikipedia.
He's part Korean, but he was featured in NFL, we're back to you.
Yeah.
We're featuring him for API month. Maybe he has to be. I don't know. But I didn't see a highlight Puka Nacua.
It's like saying Kyler Murray because he's part Korean as well. Like we don't need to honor him during this month.
How many players have visited Hawaii?
Right. Yeah. Just
every
vacation there.
Yeah, 100%.
Right.
Good for him, but I'm glad
honestly, by the way, I haven't been to Hawaii but I had a poke bowl yesterday. So if people would like to write me a letter of some sort, it could be hate mail. It's fine. I'd like to see. I haven't got mail in a few days. Yeah, write it at Hada Bruner at Elk Mountain School District. Actually, you know what? No. I am Asian. I am 0.02% Mongolian. And no one said anything to me about it.
It's true.
I'm part Mongolian if you consider Sam Howell part Korean.
Okay, he is more part Korean than you are. I don't think he deserves the shade. I think NFL's got to get their shit in order. They were like, we can't even not highlight a white guy during API month. That's my tune.
That's true.
Sam Howell should be on that list of guys who played in front of Tyrod.
I mean, no, because those guys are all white.
Yeah, notably not. That's why. All right. Yeah, hey, thanks for listening. It's very rare we get to come back on and go, guess what? I was right about something. So
yeah, we couldn't pass this up after the Panther City fiasco where we really should have come back on. We can't do that again.
Yeah, 100%. Never again.
Yeah. If there's one thing that we all know about this show is that we're not going to spread misinformation. So we wanted to bring hard-hitting analysis to you. You're welcome. Enjoy the rest of your week. Happy AAPI month, a month later, Sam Howell. Sayonara.
All the hating women. What a crazy tale. Make you laugh. You won't believe it's real. NCAA's love for taking the athletes for a spin. We'll break it all down with a cheeky grin. Sports and laughter go hand in hand. Talking Bucker and the NCAA grandstand.